Welcome or welcome back to Expeditions, a Mudrunner game, for this information sharing video with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, today sees the official release, the 5th of March, of Expeditions, a Mudrunner game. I've put up quite a few videos on this already. I'm loving it. And what I'm really loving about it is you start off, and if you're playing this for the first time and you're looking at this video thinking, okay, the video is entitled Boosting Your Money, and we're going to get onto that because there are some ways to do it, and you might need more money moving forward, and that's absolutely fine. But it starts off on your easy levels. It does get progressively harder, and when you get to the very hard missions, I'm not going to lie, some of them they are very hard. It's not SnowRunner. It certainly isn't SnowRunner. So anyway, cracking on from that, I just want to give a shout out to Bear and Papa and to It's Mr. Lone Wolf. Now, It's Mr. Lone Wolf has got his own channel. So this was a video I was looking at doing anyway. I was trying to get myself a bit further down the line. It's that thing of I don't want to jump the gun and do a video and try and explain and then find other things. And I'm finding that as I'm making videos and I'm going through, and you will find this as well. As you start to unlock more and more and more things become apparent, become obvious. So it's Mr. Lone Wolf. Check out his channel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go onto my game. And you can see already I've got a fair bit of money up in the top corner. Now, the money situation wasn't something that I paid much attention to when I started playing. I kind of just got on with it, followed the tutorial on Little Colorado. So I went through the training missions, the tutorials on Little Colorado. The game has a tendency to not force you down a route, but it gets you into the habit of doing certain things because it tells you to. And some of the missions you pick have requirements. So in those requirements, there are things you pick up, and you pick them up. Again, you get into the habit of doing it because it's kind of how it shows you how to do it. Some of those habits you might want to try and break, but one of the quickest and easiest ways of jumping your money up, and I showed it on one of my earlier videos, but this is kind of more just about boosting your money. So if you've got the version with the Pioneer Pack, if I go to my garage, has the SE versions of the 310, the Lodestar, the Action, and the Don. So you will have, if you've got the Pioneer Pack, you'll have 8 vehicles at the start. Now, you don't need duplicates of them all. You can if you want. The Pioneer Pack versions have some different paint options and things like that. So the first thing I did, I'd say the first thing, as I started getting into it, what I did was I sold all of my duplicates. So all of the standard versions of those I sold. Now, if you haven't got the Pioneer Pack, that's fine. The next bit will make more sense to you. But that's the first way you can boost your money immediately, is go on the base versions of each of those, sell them. Keep the SE versions, or the other way around. It's entirely up to you. I would argue, why bother having the Pioneer Pack if you're just going to sell them all? You can buy them back again later on if you want to. So that's the first thing you can do. Jump in, sell the base versions of each, and keep the SEs. Then the SE versions you can then build up. So the next thing to look at then is, we'll actually jump onto one. We'll go on to free roam on Slip Rock Swamp. So if I click on that, and like I said, some missions, there'll be a requirement. And it will ask you, it will say you need jack screws, you need anchors, you need certain things. So that payment, unfortunately, you've got to pay up front. You can't do anything about that. It's just part and parcel. But if I click on this just to go on free roam, we'll click on the Cotco Canyon. A lot of people are still saying they haven't got their Cotco Canyon. It didn't come out with the 96-hour early access. And a lot of people were under the assumption, as I was, that on the day of release you would get access to it. I've had a couple of people message me today to say they still haven't got access to it. I honestly don't know why. The only people that can help you with that are going to be Focus. Forums and stuff like that will be reaching out. I'm assuming it will become available later on today. I'm not sure why people aren't getting access to it. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a jack screw. I'm going to get a set of anchors. Now, up the top, that says minus 2,700. That's what it's cost me to put those in. So that's just the first thing to be aware of. It's cost me that to buy those to put them in. So what we'll do, we'll come out of there, and we will deploy. If I start expedition, that should put me there. And here we are. I'm just going to skip ahead. Time. Hopefully that will bring us to daylight. well, kind of early morning. Now, if I click on trade now, so this is the sort of first bit of advice. Up the top, you'll have your various different base modules, L1, R1. Depending on what you've placed already, I've got a workshop, I've got an expanded parking, haven't got a drone point yet. But if you look at your base module, for example, I've got a couple of things stored in there already. So my advice is this. The first thing, if you find any anchors, the reusable anchors, out on any of the airdrops on the map, bring them back in your vehicle, store them. If you buy any and bring them on, like this, I can transfer those both over and store them in my base module. The next time I come in, don't buy more. Don't worry about buying more, because it's going to cost you more money to buy them. Don't buy them. Come onto the map and then just get them out of your base module and put them back into your vehicle. Now, if you've used them out on the map, yeah, fair enough. You might get to a point you do need to buy more, and that's fine. And as you progress through the missions, you almost get a little bit blasé, because as the prices and the money goes up on the missions, and you think, well, I've just earned 20 grand, what's 3 grand here and there? And to be fair, that's a fair point. You might not be that bothered. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to show you the first thing then. So I put that one back, and I put that one back, and come back out. If I was to return to, for whatever reason, if I'm going to return to my headquarters, you remember what we paid? Was it 2,700? That's only going to pay me 1,350 for them to go back. I haven't used them. I haven't done anything. I've lost half the value of them just by going back. So immediately think, oh, okay, and you don't notice, especially if you've picked anything up on the mission, especially if you finish a mission and it's got the price of the mission and it says, oh, you've earned and whatever. You might get some bonuses for not rolling over, and it kind of gets lost in what you're doing. You don't really notice, but just be aware. You will lose half the value of those things that you've already purchased when you go back. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to trade. I'm going to put them, no, not that way. Put those back in there. I really hope I don't need these now, because that's going to be really embarrassing. So, next thing is do that. All-wheel drive on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head out to an airdrop. And what should happen, hopefully. Now, the airdrops, as far as I'm aware, and again, this is that thing, as I'm going through, I'm just playing through the missions, and I'm sort of honking through them, enjoying myself, having a great old time. And some of the bits of information you sort of then start realising more things. And it's quite, I'm doing this because it's kind of overwhelming when you first start out. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff you're being bombarded with. You're learning the idiosyncrasies of the game. You're just, you know, you might just be enjoying yourself. That kind of just running around like a maniac, you know. Which is great, but then you do start to realise and notice, and things start to happen. So I'm going to head out to an airdrop. I'll see you in a moment. Now, I could go back to the base area and store this stuff. Again, that's an option if you want to. So here's my airdrop, just up here. And the airdrops, some of them will vary as to what they have in them. Some you arrive and they have nothing. So if I just go trade, so we've got, there we go. We've got a jack screw and we've got 2 scrap metals. So if I get that, that and that, all good. I can take those back with me. If I want to, I can drive back to my base module and I can store them. Now, if you've got a workshop, the scrap metal is important, because the scrap metal can be used for crafting new jack screws and things like that. So if you want to really stock up your inventory and save yourself some money, because these replenish, if I go back now, and I use my workshop. Now, obviously, the workshop's a little bit further down the line. You won't unlock that immediately. But if I use them in my workshop and craft something, I've got it stored. If you keep coming back and keep doing this one over and, it can get a bit boring. You think, oh, why do I want to keep going backwards and forwards? But it will save you money in the long run. Spend 20 minutes, half hour, maybe even longer. It's up to you. Just going backwards and forwards on this short run. And you can craft yourself some stuff, and then you don't have to buy any more when you're coming in, which will save you money in the long run. So I'm hoping this works, because this is the first time for me doing this. So if you have unlocked the workshop, what I should do is do that, engine off, go to workshop. So my metal now, I should, there you go, when it says spare parts, if I click on that, that's put 100 into my spare parts. Now my workshop, I should be able to craft. What does it require? Of course I haven't got enough. That's typical, isn't it? So it says there that your workshop is for crafting. So to make a set of anchors, requires 160. And to do jack screws, 1 of 2 requires 200. Now, you've got to be careful with this. Again, thank you, Baron Papa. Other people might have commented, but he messaged me directly about this. You have to be careful because I've put that in there now, and my brain says, well, if I come out now, once the game's saved, that'll stay there, won't it? Well, apparently it doesn't. That'll disappear. So unless you've actually crafted the object and it's stored, it won't be there, which is quite annoying that you've gone away, you've got it, you bought it back. I wasn't going to let it beat me, so I've come back on with the Tuz with its 6 slots on its inventory. I've been going backwards and forwards to the airdrop, and I've managed to, over a few runs backwards and forwards, I've been picking up quartz left, right and centre, which is great. I think you'll see that later on in the video. I'm making a nice bit of money with that. Jack screws, anchors. I finally got to 6 scrap metal. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go across to our workshop, which is where we are now, and hopefully if we click on these we should have enough 300 to actually manufacture something. So at 300 that's frustrating, isn't it? Because that's 160 and that's 200. So we can't do one of those and one of those. We can't do 2 of those. We haven't got enough. Even if I put in less, if I'd have only put 3 in, that would have been 150. So if I put another one in, that takes me to 200, which means I can do one of those, but I've always got to go 1 over to do one of those. It's don't know how I feel about that. It's a bit naughty. I suppose it depends how many storage slots you've got. If you've got more, if you've got a warehouse and you've got base storage and you've been spending a while doing that, you might have a load of scrap metal, in which case you can build that up. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use 200, I think. Only just 1 jack screw though. There we go. We've manufactured a jack screw. We've got 100 left, which means we haven't got enough to do either of those. Which means 2 of those I picked up, so I shouldn't have done that, should I? I should have left 2 of them out. But it doesn't matter. Again, it's that learning curve, isn't it? But I have now manufactured a jack screw. So in the terms of boosting your money, if you can use scrap to produce items that you would normally have to pay for, the scrap metal's there on the map. You've just got to come and use it, utilise it. I've now manufactured something that would have cost me money before. If I'm not spending money on stuff I don't need, I can keep the money for stuff I do need. There you go. So that's a little bit of just a tiny little look at workshop, and I don't know where that's going to go, whether that gets extended, what stuff we start to unlock. We don't know where the game's going to go with DLCs and things moving forward. How far will the workshop and the crafting and stuff go? How many things can we build? I don't know yet. As of the time of making this video, all I've got the ability to do is craft anchors and jack screws. Will we get to a point where we can craft other things? I don't know, potentially. And there might be people that put out videos, might be people that are far more along than I am and already know that, answer that question. But for the time being, there we go. We have crafted something. If I scroll across now to, we've got a warehouse. Where's my... keeps doing that, that's weird. There we go, there's our base module. So I can put that jack screw in the base module. Just a little jump into crafting. I hope you found that useful. Unfortunately, I was trying to show this in a different way. I didn't want to step on It's Mr. Lone Wolf on his video on what he'd done. Going out onto the other maps, there's not as much in close proximity that can show you in such stark contrast how this works. The first bit I was saying about selling your vehicles, that's the first easy way of making some money. Being able to craft things is another way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into Little Colorado. I'm going to go to free roam. I'm not going to put anything on, just my vehicle. Cotco Canyon, like I say, I'm not going to get anything with that, just that. We're going to deploy, and I'm going to go to Field Operations Base. Click on that. Now press start. Because they're quite close in on this one, so it's a little bit easier to do. All-wheel drive on. If I click on trade, I don't think I've got anything stored in my base module at all. So what we're going to do is whiz out. I want to try and find, where was that? So I'm sure there's 2 or 3, it might even be 4 airdrops on here. There we go, there's one. So we go to this airdrop, click on there, what we got, just fuel on this one. A significant amount of fuel. That's good, but I don't want fuel. That will help me on longer missions, but it's not going to help me. This is where I roll it over and I've got nothing on board. Oh, that's another piece of advice as well. Not to do with money, but if you've got, if you're using a scout, the scouts come standard with a standard autonomous winch. So realistically, even though, and this is why it leads you down that path, that's what I was trying to say at the start. It leads you down a path of you need a jack screw, you need this, you need that. Where realistically you don't, because the scouts you don't need a jack screw, because you can right yourself, especially if there's, well, if there's not a winch point. I suppose that's the only time the jack screw would be handy. But with an autonomous winch, you can right yourself normally pretty much anywhere. But I suppose having one on board would be handy, wouldn't it? And we have got a point. Where's that one? So if I come down here to the water, put my lights on. Just here, we've got another one. There we go. And what have we got here? Brilliant stuff. So we got a jack screw, we've got some scrap metal, and we've got a dinosaur femur. Do that, and that. Don't we got the next one? We should be able to get around here. Now obviously this has only got 4 slots. If you've gone for like the TARS or the step, you might have more slots of space for picking things up. So this will only, I'll kind of pick one more thing up. That's alright. It depends if you want to spend the time coming out and doing a few of these repeatedly, but when you first start out, it's worth doing. When you get onto the higher paying contracts, it becomes this thing of, yes, they pay more, but they take much, much longer to do. So you're still putting the time in. So trade, what we've got here. More scrap metal. The problem is the scrap metal is okay. Let's just pick up that. So we've got a dinosaur bone, we've got a jack screw, we've got some scrap metal. I'm full at the moment. So there's more scrap metal there. So I know if I go back now to my thing, I can drop off the scrap metal, come back out here again, pick up some more, and I should be able to craft something. If I return now to headquarters with what I've got on board, they're going to pay me 2,350. That's 2,350 I didn't have before. Now, again, if I've got a bigger load bed, I've got more stuff on there, that could be 8 grand, 9 grand. It depends on how much stuff I've picked up as I've gone round. If there was, you know, 2 dinosaur femurs, or there, you know, quartz or ruby, it'd be worth more. But I'll show you how we can boost that as well. So what we're going to do is return. That was 2,350 I did have before, so I've just made that, no problem at all, very happy. So this time round, I'm going to go to free roam again, but this time, if I go for my TUS, you'll see my inventory and cargo space. I'm not going to put anything in them. I'm going to leave those. So this time I'm deploying with the TUS. So the immediate way to boost is have more load space. If I've got more load space, I can pick up more stuff. Now, the scrap I didn't pick up. I sold it when I went back. If I go backwards and forwards and I find more scrap, I can bring it all back. As long as I stay on the map and don't go back out to headquarters, I can then start crafting things. So what I'm going to do, we're going to whiz out, we're going to pick some stuff up. Where's the other one? I'm sure there's another. There's another pickup point. I can't remember where it is. So with the action this time, whatever's in these, I should, and as you should see as well, I've come off the map, I've come back on, they've replenished. They won't just be empty. Hopefully they won't be empty. So there we go, 2 scrap. And whereas before with the Cotco I only had 4 slots, I've got 6 slots. So when I go over to the other one, what's over there I should be able to pick up more. So I'm going to see you over there in a minute. So a few different runs out to here. This is about my 3rd or 4th now to get a better selection of things. I seem to be getting the same stuff. We've got a dinosaur bone, got some more scrap metal, got another anchor. I'm not going to grab the scrap metal because I think back over there, there's another dinosaur bone. So what I'm going to do, if you look here as well, I was talking about the anchors. That's an anchor 5 of 5. Those, you've got 5 of them, you place them, you've lost them. That one that's got the little arrows on it, that's 1 of 1. Set the anchor on any flat surface, get a new anchor point for the winch, can be returned to the inventory. That, I don't want to sell that. What I want to do is drive back to my base area and store that in my base module. So next time I come back onto the map, I can grab that. That is a returnable returnable anchor point. So then you don't have to keep buying anchors. You have to buy sets of them that you'll lose. That's a good way to save money. In saving money, you're making money. That sounds like proper dad advice, the sort of thing my dad would have said to me. I'm gonna head back over to the other airdrop over there, just to show you that, you know, once we've got a couple of dinosaur bones in, that kind of thing, we might be able to earn a bit more money. And then the sort of final tip, I guess, we'll go back out and we're going to pick a specialist. And we're going to pick a specialist, and I think we're going to go for, is it manager or logistician? I think it's managers. Once you've unlocked them, once you've got them, they should prove worth their weight in gold. It's just having to come back out here over and over, because a couple of times I came out, all of them were just scrap metal. And the scrap metal has no value to sell when you go back, but obviously it has value if you're crafting parts. So first things first, before I go back, like I say, they are worth their weight in gold, so when you find them, use them. Done my winch, we'll do that. So I'm going to go to that returnable anchor, and I'm going to put that into my base module and store it. Going to come off of there. Just don't need to come off there, but that's fine. If I go back now to headquarters, with all the stuff I've got on board, 3,200 is going to pay me. Again, it doesn't seem like a huge amount of money, but you get more dinosaur bones, not just anchors. More dinosaur bones, ruby, quartz. Like I say, pick up a few of these extra bits, and if I had 6 slots full, that might be sitting at 3, 4, 5 grand, whatever it might be. So I'm going to return to headquarters with that. And that's just for collecting stuff. That's not a mission. Some of the early missions only pay that. I mean, technically it is a mission, and it's redoable. I go back out, back out, back out. Stuff's replenished. When I go onto there, we go onto free roam. I'm going to pick the same vehicle. My TUS. Not going to put anything in it. But this time under team, I'm pretty sure it's managers. Right, so treasure items. Ah, now that's interesting. Treasure items. 50% selling price, plus 50% selling price. So it depends what it considers to be treasure items. Now, this is a risk, because you're paying 700 for him. That being said, if you find on the airdrop 6 or 7 treasure items, or 4 or 3 or whatever it might be, you're going to make that money back. I don't think the logisticians... No, it's the managers, definitely the managers. So let's click on him. I think he's the only one available at the moment, isn't he? Yep. And he actually gives you a better price. So let's hire him. I remember where the other one is. It's further out. But we'll do the ones we've done already. Yeah, we'll do the ones we've done already. All drive on. I'm going to head out to those 2 locations again. I've only been doing 2 of the potential 4, isn't it, I think? I'm trying to think, if I check on the map, where are they? Where are the ones I'm missing? That one we went to, that just had fuel. Ah, there's one there. I think that's just a climb. One there and one there we've been doing. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Anyway. So this time, I've been out to the airdrops. I was going to come back because I found another reusable jack screw. So I'll show you what I've got actually. If we go into here, just click on that. So that's in our inventory, but what we've got, I found two, not jack screw anchors, I found two standard anchors, one dinosaur femur, which, yeah, nothing amazing, and the reusable anchor. So, and we've also got the manager, which gives us plus 50%. Now, what's the most we've done? 3,200, something like that, wasn't it? So if we return this time, so rather than me put that reusable anchor into storage, I don't know what they're worth. It doesn't really give you a price for them. If I click on this and return to headquarters this time, 8,200. And that's with only one dinosaur femur as well. So I'm assuming that reusable anchor is worth a fair bit, because I've got the two normal anchors aren't worth a huge amount. The dinosaur femurs, I'm not sure what they're worth. It doesn't give you a breakdown, does it? It just says items sold, not an itemised bill, so to speak. But that's 8,200 that time round. So that boosting it again. So just from going from your usual vehicle with potentially 4 slots for your inventory, to then going to the TUS with 6 slots for your inventory, cherry picking the good stuff. Not, scrap metal's not worth anything as resale, but you can use it for crafting. But then having a manager boosts it again, which gives you a bonus in your money. If I came out and did a few of these, and I came out and got 8,000, 9,000, or even if it's a 5,000 or 6,000, like I said, spend half an hour, just go backwards and forwards a few times, come off the map, come back onto the map, off on. You can build your money up fairly quickly, and that's without going further afield. That's without going on to some of the maps where you can find more precious metals and more things that when you finish in jobs, airdrops and stuff, they will replenish every time you go back on the map. So when you find those choice things, you can go out, you can grab them, you can make yourself some good money. So if I return now, made another 8,200. All I've done is gone out, picked up a couple of bits, come back, job done. Money has gone up a bit. I'm considering whether or not to go back out again and hope for some more bones. I haven't encountered trailers yet. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know the bigger vehicles. I assume when we go into the heavier vehicles and heavier equipment, which I haven't got to yet, haven't unlocked any yet. If you've got more inventory slots than those, 8s, 10s, I don't know what it's going to end up being. And if we get modded vehicles, you could probably go around a map and scour a map and make yourself a tidy bit of money just by going around the airdrops and picking stuff up. So using the drones, using the binoculars, identifying the airdrops, finding them on the maps, can be crucial, especially in the early stages of building your money up quite nicely. Bear with me, I'm going to go out one more time and have a look, see how we get on. If I do all right, I'll show it. If I don't, I'll come back to this menu and we'll end the video then, but there may be something more. So to finish off then, I've come onto Slip Rock Swamp. I was going to go back onto Little Colorado, and I thought, you know what, I'll come onto here, I'll use the TUS with more slots. I've been going out to the airdrop that's over on the hillside in that direction. I initially came on to go and get scrap metal, because every time I've been up there, they've had 2 scrap metal. So I'll get 4, 6 scrap metal, and I'll show the workshop. Every time I've gone out there, nope, quartz. I've got quartz coming out my ears, which is no bad thing. So what I'm going to do, this is the end part of the video then. I've got my manager, I've got my TUS, I've got more quartz than I know what to do with. So hopefully, if that's considered a treasure item, if I now go, actually no, I want to do trade, because I've got it stored. I had it stored in here. The last run out I had 1 scrap metal, 1 quartz and 1 jack screw. So if I exchanged them all, moved them all around, so in my inventory now I've got 6 quartz. It says valued by traders. So now we click on here and we go to return to headquarters, 12 grand. 12 grand we're going to get for picking up those bits of quartz, in addition to, that's the most I've made just picking stuff up off the ground, so to speak. Like I say, out on, I can't remember which map it was, Dormant Volcano, one of them, I found ruby, which at the time I couldn't in my head work out how this was going to work, but yeah. So using my manager and having a larger bed so I can carry more stuff means on that run I paid 700 quid to have the manager, 700 quid, $700, whatever, and made 12 grand. That's a result. So I hope you found this useful. I know I tried to show it and explain it as comprehensively as I could. But yeah, If you have found it helpful and informative and useful in some way, shape or form, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you choose to do. Thanks for watching.